Does anyone have any questions or comments?
I was wondering, suppose you said that it's cremated. How do you search them? Is there a record in the cemetery if they're cremated?
Well, one of the tips, I started by talking to a relative. So if you know a relative, and that relative had an idea of, where the person died, and you can still get information from that. In fact, I was helping a girl yesterday where she really didn't know, she was looking for a brother outside the family. If you notice on there, that was a Henry Lucius. Henry Lucius was Mr. Rowland's child, but not his wife's child. So that's why the last name was different. I thought it's abusive. But you should talk, that may be, I don't know how difficult that may be, but I started talking to a relative and she told me history about it. And you can trace back to the sister or brother or whatever.
Excellent. Oh, right here.
For the cemetery records or the headstone reading, is there record other places like grave places where they have headstones where they keep the records of anything like that? Did you go there and find out information, or did you get some church records or whatever?
What I did, because I'm a novice, so I started out, I called the court in Hawkinsville, and they were very helpful. She faxed me a list of names that were in that cemetery and where they were located. However, I have since been able to find it on your website. You know the town, you know the state. Say like this is Sanford, Florida. I went there and looked at the cemeteries there. And it would tell you this is a black cemetery. So you click on that and have all the names in it. And you can do it online.
You mean just the regular website?
Yes,
It
that's
didn't
what I
have to
did.
be like,
It's not as complicated. I thought it was going to be complicated until I started. I said, well, let me just type in and see what comes up. And they said, and then it says about this town, and it says cemeteries, and I clicked on cemeteries, and it lists all the different cemeteries. And because in my instance, I knew the cemetery, and it was 5 pages of people buried in that cemetery. Now, Paige Jackson may be different.
How far does it go back?
I don't know. I went back, what, 1854? 1817.
okay.
Over here.
I just want to say that was beautiful and it was very inspirational, and I think it was a lovely job. Thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Go up. Go straight there.
Yes.
I'm amazed that you were able to go back to 1854 when you consider the history of slavery and the dates of emancipation. That has been one of my problems because my grandparents were born into slavery on a plantation, and I would really like to know how to do what you did in terms of, going back that far.
I think some of the workshops may be able to help you, but on mine, when I did my grandmother, I was able to go before emancipation, before 1864 with them. So they were born a slave. And I was able to go that far back. Genealogies sections are mostly in a lot of southern libraries. I think we may have one here too.
Okay.
One lady was very helpful, and I'm sorry, in giving me the information, emailing me the information that I requested. So, but when you go to the workshops, they'll bring it out.
Sorry to cut you off, but we're gonna have more time to ask questions at the end of the program today. There's gonna be a panel of any of the presenters or speakers, and you can go to them and ask more questions. But we need to keep moving along here. Our morning sessions, I just want to announce quickly. We have an all-day computer lab that's going to be over in Swan. And this year, everything is all on one floor. Last year, we had 2 floors. We're making it easier for everybody. All the classrooms are out here to the right. Out to the right in the first hallway of classrooms. If you want to go to the computer lab, we have free access to genealogy websites, Ancestry.com, and some other websites. That's going to be running all day, and you have to go into Swan, into the community center, and you make a right into the computer lab. That's all day for everybody. The morning classrooms are, there's a classroom on DNA. Mr. Blaine Benninger from Syracuse is here. He's an expert on DNA. He's not going to try to sell you anything. He's going to tell you about the different DNA programs, the pros and cons, if you should give DNA testing, if you shouldn't, all about DNA. So if you want to know anything about DNA testing, that's going to be in room 7. Okay, and information resources and genealogy will be Dr. Biddle, and that's all about all the different resources, books, websites. Oh, just websites? Well, all websites. And stand up there. This is Dr. Biddle, and he will be presenting that. And then we have a show and tell. Where? And show and tell, 24, room 24. All of them are down the same hall, room 24. Show and tell is Miss Pat Jackson. And show and tell is if anybody brought anything or wanted to share a story about an ancestor, if you have photographs, if you have pictures, even a little video, you'll have a few minutes, everybody will have a few minutes to show and tell and share their family story. That's going to be in room 18, and Pat Jackson is going to be running that. So these are the sessions for the morning. So you can go out to your session. Oh, there's bathrooms right at the beginning of the hall. Anybody needs to use the bathroom. Everything is nice and convenient. So
Lunch is on your own from 12 to 1, and we'll be reconvening at 1 o'clock for our afternoon sessions.
okay, thank you.
Go ahead. It is hot. Need us a fan.
Yes, we're ready to get started. I have all my stuff here. Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Stanton Little. I'm going to be presenting this workshop on information resources and genealogy. We're going to focus on websites. I have some websites I'm going to show you websites and show you some of the things I found looking at them. I grew up in Rochester. My name is Stanton Little, as I said. I'm a retired professor from Blue Collar City University of New York. I went to high school in Rochester. I went to college at Howard University in Washington, and then Atlanta University, New York University, and University of California, Berkeley. So I've been in school a lot. I'm a librarian, so of course I'm very interested in information resources, how to find things and how to use them. Would you look at something?
You have to go back several generations sometimes to find an appropriate descendant to test in the case of lines that have daughtered out. So what exactly? So when you swab your cheek and you send it in the mail, what exactly are they looking at? They typically will look at short stretches of DNA called short tandem repeats, and these are called markers. So when I get these results back, and these are actually my own results that I've just cut out from family tree DNA, for example, here. And this top number each represents a different marker. It's just a name for a certain location that gets tested. But these are my results, 24, 14, 10, 11. What they mean is that at this marker, for example, 391, there's a repetition of a DNA sequence. So for example, here you see it's GTT, 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 over and over again 7 times. And so what the companies are doing is they'll sequence this region and then count the number of repeats. Forward, because that will give you more information, more useful information.
Right after the Civil War, they came across over in Louisiana. And that's where they stayed, and they didn't go back. There were stories about why one family member would not go back to Texas because he was in trouble with the law. And the other brother came over to get him, and they both stayed there, and that's when the family started over there. And I went to St. Augustine, Texas, and I could see the documentation that this guy had, my great-grandfather, the documentation where he actually registered all of his slaves.
Okay.
Slaves were like homes, they were
Yep,
like
property.
any other property, and you want to make sure that you protected that investment, so you registered it in the courts. So if somebody took it or the slave ran away, you had an official record that that was yours.
So slaves were registered as property?
As property.
If you go,
So there would, go ahead.
yeah, if you go to the, like he did, to the county, and you look up the wills of the white people, there's pages where it says property, and we were listed as property. And next to it, there's our value. Sometimes we were valued at $50. If we were older or male, we were valued at $100.
Does it give the name
Yes.
and age
Yes.
so you could,
It'll give-
because there might be
It'll give
30
Yes.
Josephs,
Yes,
for
it does.
example, or 17
Yes,
Marys?
it does, honey. Yes, it
See, the
does.
thing is, that's what I was about to say, if you can get back to there, that's the other connection that I had there. Now, what happens is, if you can find out, for example, especially in the South, what plantation your family may have come from, okay? Because there are plantations all over the South. If you know the plantation they're on, plantations kept excellent records. I got a little text later.
This, the husband and wife and all the children. So that meant for every family would have a sheet like this. And the shortcoming here is you have no place to put your citations for your facts. Every fact must have a source. You have no place to put that. I've only seen one of these things, these family group sheets, that had the little superscript numbers, and over another sheet of paper would be where that fact came from. If you've got a computer program, it makes it a lot easier. That's what I'm going to show you. So we want to start with paperwork, but we're going to go to a computer program. Now, there are several computer programs that are available. I'm only familiar with 2 of them. Family Tree Maker, which is the kind of thing, if you go to a store and stuff, you'll see a sheet of Family Tree Maker. And there's another one where you can get it off of internet too. Actually, Ancestry owns Family Tree Maker. It didn't used to, but it does now. The other one is Roots Magic, which is a good one. And that's what I'm going to use today because Roots Magic has a thing called Roots Magic to Go, and I can put the genealogy program onto a flash drive and bring it to any computer and use it. So I can just bring my flash drive in here, put it onto this computer, which should not have Roots Magic on it, and project it, what makes it available. 2072, you can see it.
For black men to be unified, united, and work together, and to get things done in the South. And it really didn't hit me until on my mother's side, my grandfather was a Mason, and if I look back in my genealogy, black men belong to either one fraternal order or the other. Now,
Either Elks or
Elks or Masons or all of these, or Odd Fellows, and Brigadier General Noel was a member of the Knights of Pythias. Never heard of the Knights of Pythias. So now I have to go and research the Knights of Pythias. Find out what they're all about. It's another fraternal order. Where did they get their name from? And then I had to learn that Pythias was mythical character in Greek mythology. He said, you know, and so you keep learning, you keep going, you keep learning. There's just more and more. So I learned that Pythias was this character in Greek mythology. The story was that his friend was going to be arrested, and they were going to put him in jail, and they were going to hang him. And he asked the king if he could go and visit his family first, and he'll come back. And so the king says, well, how do I know you're going to come back? And so his friend said, well, I'll be here, and if he doesn't come back, you can hang me. So the man did not come back on a certain day, but just before his friend was about to be hung, he showed up, and he explained that he had gotten kidnapped and pulled away. And so the king was so impressed that he actually did come back. He freed both of them. So this whole story comes out of, my grandfather was a member of the Knights of Pythias. Stuff you're not going to learn. So I had to learn about the Knights of Pythias. Also, he was buried in Randolph Cemetery. Had to find out about Randolph Cemetery. Randolph Cemetery was a black cemetery that was created when one of the Reconstruction state senators was assassinated on a campaign trail. His name was Randolph.
Was he white?
No, this is one of the black Reconstruction. So when he died, they had to find a place to bury him. There was no place. So the community got together and bought this plot of land, and they created a burial site. And it's a national historic cemetery because 4 or 5 Reconstructions statesmen are buried there.
Grandparents are dead. They're dead too. And so that's the reason I say to young children, the best thing you can do in your life is talk to the oldest people around you. I still have a couple of aunts that's still living. One is 94. Her birthday's in February. I always go and spend her birthday with her. I didn't do it this year. I'm going down in a couple of months to do that. And then I have one that's about 90. And I have one here. She's in her early 80s. But I asked her, how old was how was your father when you were born? She said he was 69 years old. When we have family gatherings, one thing I always do my whole life, and you should do this, always have a camera with you. Everybody in the world should own a camera. Give it to your kids for Christmas present. Keep a little camera. And a picture today that's worth 12 cents, a picture's 12 cents today. 50 years from now, that picture would be worth $1,200. Hey, it becomes, its most valuable picture is not what you today, but what that picture will be worth 5 years from now, or 10 years from now.
Now, when you have family reunions, do you show things like this?
You know what? In family reunions, that's my older sister right there. That's my older sister. Now, she died at the age of 40 from cancer.
Because I was thinking of that. You said our family reunion, you just sit around, talk, or you have activities. But no one was telling the history.
Well, I did that one time. As a matter of fact, I have it on tape. I won't be able to show it today. But my niece got together. You know, my niece, she got together, and she had a Christmas breakfast. And we all got together at Charlotte Beach, and we had a brunch, Christmas brunch. And it was a couple of days after Christmas. And she asked me to do the history. So we got there and I did the whole history of the family. I went back and I did it orally with them so they could get a good understanding up until now. I went back, like I said, I went back to 1820. And there was explanations, and they really enjoyed it. Everybody enjoyed that. But yes, I did do a workshop with them.
Thank you.